everybody, welcome back to my channel. We're going to see what Spirit has to share with us today. I hope everybody's doing well. It's a Tuesday afternoon. It's April 30th. Yeah, boy, did April go fast. Alright, anywho, hope everyone's doing good out there. And let's just jump right in and see what Spirit has to share with us. Okay, so this card is representing possibilities. It's called adjacent possibilities, but this just references many opportunities, many possibilities, many choices, lots of doors that could be opened. So this is just saying that where the seeker is, whoever's watching this, looking for answers, you're in a position right now where you have actual choices and possibilities being offered to you, and I would think that this is just showing that you're needing some clarity on which choices to make. You need to be able to see the truth in things so that we're not just repeating old past fear programs which stop us from making any choices. So Spirit is saying that this reading is going to have to do with helping you to see the truth in knowing which choices to choose, what possibilities are open and available to you, and to know which ones to choose. This is speaking about yin and yang, which is your feminine is the yin, yang is your masculine. So the crossing card usually represents advice or your challenge. So it's just saying that you need to bring together both your masculine and feminine qualities in order to actually know and fulfill and walk through what choices that you need to make. As humans, we swing from one polarity to the other. So we're either in the feminine or we're in the masculine. And for those that are not fully understanding what that means with the masculine and feminine, your feminine quality is your bee energy. She's the intuitive, has the ideas, she's the caregiver, she's the one that loves. Yeah, so it's more of the gentle, reserved, in one spot kind of energy. Then you have the masculine quality, which is your do energy. It's to get it done. So once the feminine knows what she wants to do, you say it into your consciousness, which you're not even aware that you're doing this, but this is what we do all the time. Feminine comes up with the idea, and then the masculine aspect goes, yeah, I know exactly what to do to make that happen. But because right now there's so many possibilities that we could go in that we're not used to having. Not only that, for some of you it's just total chaos and confusion because you've lived a life that way and you're not sure which opportunities to take because you feel like you're just afraid of making the wrong decision. So this is for those that have lots of possibilities showing up. Use your masculine and feminine qualities to choose those possibilities, and then it's for those that are not sure because you're not used to having a choice. Because in our past, in our human life, and I say that like that because our first triad of our chakra columns, so you got your root chakra, sacral, and solar plexus. Those are the lowest dimensions of our being. When we're starting off in life, this is where we're coming from. We're coming from just the 3-dimensional thinking that our needs being provided for, working till you die basically, is all that life is. But when you start spiritually awakening and you move into the second triad, which is the heart chakra, the throat, and the third eye, you start realizing you're more than the physical body. So when we start coming into this awareness, we start realizing we have a lot more choices that we can be choosing, because as a human, we always wait for others to tell us what our next step is. We wait for, teachers, your boss, your parents, depending on your situation. We always wait for someone to give us that next step. Well, what needs to be done? What do you need me to do? But now you're in a time where you actually get to choose. So when you're moving out of human experiences, we come into the spiritual aspects of ourselves. We actually start getting to choose what those are. But when you're so used to being told what to do, it gets difficult to know what choices to choose for ourselves because everything was always dictated to us. So this is where the confusion is for some of you. You're just not sure what to choose because you're afraid of making the wrong choices, and I can understand that. But doing no choices is also choosing. So sometimes we might be afraid of making the wrong choice, but even if you take a chance, if it happens to be the wrong choice, then at least you know, then you choose differently next time. So the Spirit is saying use your masculine and feminine qualities figure out what you really want to do, what brings you joy, what brings you happiness. Keep in mind, it's not about what you have to do, what's expected of you. It's about what do you want to do. I know, weird, right? When I started being able to have choices of what I actually wanted to do and create, it was a little confusing because I was always expecting something or someone, wherever I got that information from, to dictate my next steps. So I can see why that's confusing for some, because now we're finally into a place where we get to choose. The obvious reason for this is just because we're bringing together our masculine and feminine, and instead of swinging from polarities, only in the feminine, only in the masculine, we need to bring the two together so we can implement the creativity of the feminine, but the follow through with the masculine. There's a deeper card here that's talking about envy. Now, I'm not getting a full-on message for this just yet, other than the fact that because you have these options, choices, and possibilities, and that you are in a place where you get to choose, there's something underlying, whether it be the ego, because the ego does not like us to succeed. It likes to try to pull us back into the past. But it can also represent just others around you that might be jealous or envious of what you got going on. So just keep that in the back of the mind. It doesn't have to be the thing that stops you, but you need to be aware of it. So you're not allowing your ego, your fears, or others that just don't like seeing others succeed try to pull you back down. The Sun card. This is the Sun card, which represents, Sun card is one of the best cards you can get in the tarot cards. These are oracle, but they still have some cards in here that represent some of the tarots. The Sun card is basically your dreams, your goals, your wishes, and it also represents the sacred masculine. For those of you that have only been in the feminine, where you're more docile, you wait for instruction, you don't really make choices for yourself to move yourself forward, you wait for that to happen. This is speaking to you to say that you're starting to finally recognize and step into your masculine now, so that you can bring your dreams, goals, and wishes to you into fruition. Let's see if there's anything else there. Okay, so then next is, now that you've discovered that you do have a masculine quality and you don't have to sit around waiting for someone else to tell you what steps to take, there's forward movement here into action, and then you got your white and your black horse, which again is your yin and yang. It's your feminine and your masculine energy, and you're using both of these to propel you forward. So you're not just in a feminine mode where you're sitting doing nothing and only thinking about what things you want to do. You're now implementing that masculine energy to get things moving. Forward movement into action. Another future card here is Door to Spirit. Let's just see here. One of the aspects is, this is a future card. Some of you are coming more into, okay, so as I was speaking about your human aspect, the human only thinks that it has to be dictated to, controlled, manipulated, and forced to do things. And now that you're coming into your spiritual self, Spirit is again just reiterating that you have choices to choose peace, to choose your dreams, goals, and wishes where you didn't think you had a choice in the past. The 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. This speaks about the fact that you are moving into your Christed consciousness. So Christed consciousness is actually a 12D leveled consciousness. That's what they talk about, Jesus returning. It's actually not Jesus the man returning, it's the Christed consciousness returning. So in this card, it's representing that you are moving through your human aspects, finding your power again, bringing back in your masculine to help you decide to choose which possibilities are best for you instead of waiting for them to be dictated. You're doing forward action. There is somebody envious and jealous around, so just be mindful of that and don't let them sabotage you. But this is helping you to move into the Christed consciousness, even though it says 7. My understanding is portholes of each dimension lead to each other. So 7 goes to 12. For the human, it's 7. For somebody that's aware of how spirituality works, 7 is a porthole to 12. I'll get into that later, but right now we're just going to stick to this reading. So this is letting you know that as you're leaving your your physical reality of your human experiences, realizing you're more than the physical body and more than just being dictated to, controlled, and told what to do. You're choosing for yourself, or this is the advice for you to start. Watch out for the envious, evil, or not envious, ego, or evil. If I said that word, that must be resonating with somebody. Sometimes there are just people around that are evil. It took me a long time to comprehend that there are some people out there that literally go out of their way to be evil. Now, it's not that I didn't experience evil, but for some reason, having a pure heart, I just couldn't fathom that people would go out of their way to do that. To me, it was circumstantial. It was never intentional. But I'm realizing there are just some that are jealous and miserable, and they like to create shit for others. So, you are on the right track with reaching your spiritual graduation with your Christed consciousness. But this is where you're just learning to see that you do have choices. When you don't feel yet you have a choice to choose the possibilities or choose what door you want to walk through, you're always going to stay disempowered. So Spirit's teaching you, you got your masculine energy, use it. Use your feminine to come up with the ideas and stuff you want to do. Really sit down with a pen and paper. Figure out what brings you joy. Because we are entering into, well, I've already gone through this, which some of us spiritual way showers have, and we are meant to, so that we can learn about it, understand it, so we can teach about it. So looking through my past of all my patterns and cycles that I've gone through, I went through the human stuff where I just felt like my life was just dictated to me every moment of every day, whether it be a seen force or an unseen force or circumstantial or whatever. But then when you start taking your power back and recognizing, yeah, I am the feminine and the masculine. I get to choose for myself. And no, I may not have had choice before, but I have choice now. Once you realize you actually have choice and start following those choices, you become more empowered. Yeah, that's pretty much can't explain it any better than that. Stay on the right track. You're staying on the right track with what you're doing. Carry on. Healthy boundaries. Speaking your boundaries and enforcing them will bring you more confidence and self-empowerment. I know at first it's uncomfortable because nobody likes confrontation. We don't like to upset others. And those of us that are empaths that can feel others' energies, we generally like to avoid confrontation because we don't like the feeling that we're feeling from the other person. It's not even ours, but we don't like making people uncomfortable. But that's why empaths just learn to not have boundaries, because they don't want to confront anyone with enforcing them. So those of you that are still learning to speak up for yourself, keep doing it. You can always start with something simple like, say your friends are going out to a movie and you're usually the one that just goes along with it. Use that example and that opportunity to just say, you know, I'd really like to see this movie. Maybe we can go see that movie another time, but let's go see this one. So if you start using your voice in simple ways like that, the more often you do it, the better you get at it, the more confident you get with it. Then when you have a situation where you really have to enforce your boundaries, you are more strong in yourself and more confident in yourself, because you're showing love and respect for yourself instead of always letting others dictate your experiences. I hope that makes some sense. I know that's not the best example because I'm using an example that's light with friends, but I'm talking about when you need to put the hammer down with people. If you can start off with the light things, it'll help strengthen you with the more serious things. Okay, so contract. This is talking about a contract being balanced, karma being balanced, or the need for it to be balanced. But it's also, Spirit is showing me here that somewhere in your past, it could even be in your ancestral line, there was somewhere some of you were made to believe that you're responsible for the karmic debt of others. A lot of healers, and I'm sure many of you will agree, we come into this healing business with a passion to heal others because it's something that we needed for ourselves. But then later you start finding out how difficult it is to do these services because you feel like you're being pounded on energetically, constantly, all the time. But the only reason for that is because if you carry within your energy field the belief that you deserve to pay back a debt that's not yours, you're going to suffer doing it. So even though you're doing a good thing for others, there's an underlying foundational belief that I deserve to suffer and to be punished while I make others well. So you got to start letting go of these old contracts. And a contract is just a belief. It's something that you believe you need to be doing because somebody convinced you that you need to be doing it. I actually had this program within my DNA, passed down generation to generation, but my experience in my childhood was also, I'm the reason, I'm the cause of others' suffering, and I need to make up for that. But not only do I need to make up for others' suffering, I also have to suffer doing it while others feel better. So for many years in my healing with clients, it was always very excruciatingly painful for me to do these sessions for people, because not only was I helping them to feel better, I was suffering through it. So I'd suffer before they showed up, I'd suffer during and after. I know some of you will resonate with this, because if you're not a healer, you may not understand it. But the gist of what I'm saying anyways is we have contracts, which are beliefs or agreements in our own mind saying, nope, I need to suffer. I need to do this. I need to make up for it. We need to take ourselves down off the cross. We are not meant to suffer for anybody else. Guilt is one of those things that when you hold guilt, it brings to you self-punishment. And a lot of the guilt that we're programmed with is not even ours. We were made to feel bad because somebody, whether it be a parent, a guardian, whoever it was in your experience, in your reality, maybe even siblings that were older than you, it's all your fault. You did this to me. You should have to, yada, yada, yada. So as children, we take this seriously and we program ourselves saying, oh my God, I'm the cause of this suffering. I need to make up for it. So then subconsciously, this program keeps running in the background. And then all these experiences are showing up where you're suffering and everybody's doing well. Because we need to recognize what contracts, what beliefs, what programs we have running in the background, so that we're not making ourselves responsible for karma that's not ours. That's huge. That is so huge. So it's learning to see the truth in what is mine and what is someone else's, what beliefs are mine and what are the beliefs that I have that we're either passed down through the DNA, because DNA is coded from every generation and each child gets part of the DNA from each parent. So whatever their beliefs and programs were, they get passed on. Then we wonder why we're all suffering is because we keep perpetuating the same old, because we're not willing to look at what programs and beliefs are running there in order to change them. And that's what healing really is. It's finding out what's really ours, what's not, what's useful, what isn't, what to let go of, and what to introduce as something new. We want to bring balance to ourselves, drop what's not ours, so that we can finally get on with living a life where we get to choose our own possibilities and options. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever doors we want to walk through, instead of waiting for something else to happen for us. We get to choose now. And we got to stop blaming ourselves for shit that was already happening well before we were even born. And that's what this contractual card is representing. My father's suffering is not my fault, even though he made me responsible for it. And he made my whole family responsible for it. This is not my baggage, even though I suffered for it because it took me a long time to figure it out. So I'm just trying to let everybody know, really dig deep into your consciousness and go, okay, what programs do I have running that maybe be creating this for me? And for those of you who don't know, I do personal sessions where I can find out, doing readings and healing sessions, where we can find out what those foundational programs are running so that we can change them, so that your life will be hugely different. Never underestimate the power of a sentence, because a sentence can tell you something that will be life-changing. Attachment, again, is learning to let go of attachments that aren't ours. When we have contracts and beliefs and programs running that aren't ours, we're going to have attachments to experiences in the past, because now we become resentful because these programs and beliefs were passed down. We need to heal and forgive and let go of what was passed down so that we can actually move forward. Because when we start discovering how much shit we've been hanging on to that's not actually ours, then we're like, oh, F, this is not even mine. So thank you, Mom, thank you, Dad, thank you, Grandma, Grandpa, for passing your garbage down. I'm suffering because of shit you didn't take care of. So you will go through that little bit of a process to let go of those emotional attachments to those experiences, taking the mask off, starting to see the truth in things. Then you can move forward. You will have a grieving period. You'll have a mourning. You'll have maybe just a little shit show, anger, whatever it is, but then you move on. You don't hang out there. You just recognize, okay, this was passed on. This is how it went. I didn't know this was happening. I forgive myself for not knowing, and I forgive them for passing it on, because chances are they didn't know either. And then at the end of the day, we have a card called the Temple Path. To me, this represents like the Garden of Eden. So going through all of this and recognizing what's yours, what's not, you are in control. Bring together your masculine, feminine. Make choices for yourself. What's for you? It's not about what do I need to do. It's about what do I want to do. And don't get all tied up with, okay, well, I have to get a job. I have to do a 9 to 5. Or I have to, always have something constant. Trust me, I've been on this path for a long time. I was doing my own business. There's times where it's lean. There's experiences that I would rather have not had to go through, but I stuck with it, stuck through it, made it more mine. The more I learned, the more I progressed, the more I had awareness to what was going on. I'm at a point now where I can literally change weather. I can change how my day is going to go. I can take a scary experience that could end really badly, and I can flip it within minutes. So this is just to give you a precursor to what you're capable of doing, and you will once you start recognizing that you hold the power. You get to choose. You may not have got to choose in the past, so then the mind keeps going, well, I don't have a choice. I got it. No, you get to choose. So at first, when you start making a choice, it may not always work out that way. But the more you keep choosing and no, I get to choose. I get to choose. Keep doing that. Override the guilt, override the evil, override the envy people, override the ego, override the fear programming, because this programming needs to know that you've changed your mind about it. And just like anything, those programs took years and years and years to be solidified into the DNA. So sometimes things take a little longer. Depends how stubborn it is. But at the end of the day, you have choice. So it's not about going, I got choice. I get to control you. I get to make you do this because this is what I want. No, 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 no. What you do is you make the decision in your mind very clear of what you want to experience. You tell your universe, you tell your higher self, you tell God, whatever label you want to give it. I like to use higher self, but then I know there's prime creator, because if I'm going to converse with somebody, I want somebody to know more than what I know. So if I at least say higher self, there's always a being of myself higher than the one asking. If you want to go right to prime creator, do that. God, Lord, Jesus, universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it. You use yours, but just make sure you're talking to divinity, because there's also lower gods, and they like to intervene and mess around. You need to be very clear who you're asking from. And when you finally start recognizing all these patterns and how you finally get to live your life, because now you're in control, at the end of the day, the temple path, which means you are bringing yourself to this place of peace. This temple, which is your body. 1 and 2 is 3, which is the Trinity. It's unity consciousness. So you got your masculine and your feminine, which is 1 and 1. But when you bring those two together, so you got feminine, masculine. But when they integrate and merge, it becomes the third, which is your Trinity. So 2 and 1 is 3. That's your Trinity. Garden of Eden. This is what we want to end up at. We're bringing heaven back to earth. But you need to first recognize that you are the one that has to choose which possibilities, which door do you want to open. And I know it's hard at first because we're like, shit, I'm so used to being told what to do and what steps to take, and I'm so confused. What am I supposed to be doing? It's not about what you should be doing. It's about what do you want to do, and then take steps towards that. But remember, sometimes you have programs running in the background that are going to contradict what you're trying to do. So when you have, when you become like too much resistance to what you're trying to do, that's when you want to back off and then go into, okay, what program might be running? Why is there always a contrast here? Once you figure out what that is, you work from there, work that out, and then the rest becomes more easy and you're more empowered by it. And again, I'm sorry, I know I sound like I'm just advertising my business, but I have to say the reason I'm in this business is because If you can't figure these things out for yourself, going to an alternative therapy person, whether it be me or somebody else, it doesn't matter, whoever you resonate with, can give you some of those insights to help you understand what's going on underneath. So, because when you don't know what you're battling with, then you're just fighting against something, hoping you keep your head above water. So if you can get to the point of what was my agreement, what was my belief, what am I agreeing to? Because some things are ours and some are not. So when they're not yours, you're not going to know. Because a lot of times we say, I get to choose. Yeah, I get to choose, sure. And then when I choose, it doesn't work out because there's still something going on in the background that you need to figure out what that is, because a foundational belief will be running in the background whether you're aware of it or not, and that's the frequency that goes out, and that's the frequency that comes back in. All right, let me take a quick little boo here, see if Spirit has anything to add to this. I mean, that was pretty good. That's very detailed. And of course, you guys, if there's anything you actually want me to talk about, put it in the comments, and I can gear readings around teachings too. I don't have to do cards like this. I actually do like doing teachings, and when I have a question, it helps me to bounce off that question. Doing things just one way like this, like when I have clients and I do readings, they give me a little bit, I give them more, and we keep going back and forth. When it's like this, it's just sort of out there. So if you guys want to know more about something, by all means put it in the comments and I'll read those, and then I can formulate videos and teachings based on those questions. Because don't be afraid to ask these questions, or for you to want me to talk about something, because chances are if you're thinking about it, somebody else is, and it'll help more than just you. Okay, so really Spirit is just saying watch out for the envy, the ego, the part of you that doesn't want you to succeed, or whatever it is, somebody around you that's mirroring this back to you. Stay in your power. You are the masculine and the feminine. You do have choice. Speak it to yourself, command it from yourself and your universe. It's not always about those around us that we need to dictate it to. It comes from inside out, and then it comes back to us. So whatever we're seeing on the outside happening, it's a projection of the consciousness from the inside, going out, showing us, and back to us. So if you keep having shitty experiences coming to you, you're projecting something out that you may not be aware of. And that's why we need to find out what these beliefs and programs are, so that we can balance them, so that you can get your Garden of Eden, heaven on earth. This potential's here, guys. I can't even tell you, like, just talking about it right this moment, I feel like crying, because I don't know about you all out there, but I had a shitty childhood. I have a lot of good memories, don't get me wrong, but I've been through a lot of stuff, not just in my childhood, my whole life. Like, I can't even believe I'm still alive. I've had so many things happen to me that defies the whole laws of existence, that I know that this is a potential here. I know there's a lot of scary things happening with our government, with the world, but you got to remember, wherever you put your focus, whatever you fear, you're emanating this frequency and bringing it back to yourself. If you can stay in your power and choose your reality and stay within that, your frequency will emanate that and bring that back to you. And as we do this as a collective, we can bring this heaven on earth here, and we can bypass the fall of Atlantis all over again, because there's predictions of more things, more tsunamis, the satellites falling out of the sky, hitting, I think it's the east coast of California, yada yada. I could go into that on another video about the fall of Atlantis, because I was shown this years and years and years ago as the fall of Atlantis, but it was shown to me as what's already happened. But then they showed me later, this is what we're here, or even myself as one of the light workers, helping to prevent. And we prevent this by getting everybody into a better state of consciousness, because everybody's consciousness affects the collective. So each and every one of us has to do our part, because every time one of us does something, heals something, the collective has to shift, it has to change. We're still all having our own personal experiences, but we are going to also have a collective experience, which we do see. So everybody needs to do their part, because heaven on earth is an option. It is an opportunity, irregardless of all this scary stuff. We just have to take the blinders off, take the mask off, see the truth, let go of emotional attachments to past experiences, change your perspective on it. What's happened's happened. You've already pissed and moaned and cried and bawled about it because we've all done it. We needed to, and that's okay, because we want to honor our emotions and feelings. But when you keep crying and moaning and pissing about the exact same thing over and over again, that's got to tell you something. You got something running in there that you haven't been allowed to let go of, and it's probably not even yours. Figure out those things. Go see somebody that can help you out, or learn to do your own readings, do some research, whatever it is that you got to do that's going to give you the answers you need so that you can move forward. Because I'm telling you guys, this is what I'm aiming for. Heaven on earth. And I know it sounds like a, corny saying, but think about it this way. If we came here to experience duality and everything that we're not, which is darkness, fear, lack, the opposite of everything, that means the potential and possibilities awaiting for us are the opposite of that. Love, joy, happiness, prosperity, abundance, deep inner peace and freedom, safety and security, peace and quiet, just infinite possibilities, infinite resources to do what we want to do. And I have a big dream, and I know it's coming. And there's only a few out there that know about it. Lisa, if you watch this, Lisa Kirkby, you know about it. Kelly Hebert, you know about it. I think Sonia Ranella, she knows about it. So there's a few of you that know about my dream. I haven't told too many people, but I'm going to tell you, that's what I'm hoping for. Not hope. Hope is kind of disempowering, because hope means I'm giving my power away to something to hope it happens. I know it's coming. I know it's happening. And by knowing it, that sets me in alignment with it coming. And if anything tries to come in that contradicts my knowing, I look at it and go, nope, that's an old program and it's not mine. That's fear programming. That's something I was teased with when I was a kid, or whatever it was, and then I stick back to my original. I know it's coming, and that's the timeline I'm getting into. Because there's constant timelines everywhere happening. Your frequency is going up and down all the time, every day, all day. You could be in one timeline and then have a shitty experience and it throws you in another timeline. As soon as you bring your frequency up, you're in another timeline, and then different possibilities show up. So it all just depends. But if you have solid emotions that are stuck in there that you didn't allow yourself to have, this is where you need to have them. You need to give yourself permission to feel them, have them, because we didn't get to have that permission in the past. But you don't need to hang out there forever. You acknowledge your suffering, you acknowledge how it made you feel, and then choose something different. Okay, this is what I had happen, but this is what I want to experience now. So higher self, put me on that path. Show me the next steps. Show me my next best steps to keep me on this path, in alignment with love, truth, and the law of one. That's what I like to say. You can take some of that and make it your own, or find your words that you like to use that's going to help you feel more empowered. Alright, I think that's everything for now. If not, when I shut it off, when I think of something, I'll just turn her back on. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed the reading. I really hope you got something out of it. I know I keep saying hope, because sometimes the human language, that's just the word to use. So really what I'm saying is, I know some of you got something out of this. I know that this is going to be helpful to some of you and give you some insight. And for those of you that are not subscribed to my channel, by all means hit the subscribe button. Share the videos if you feel inspired, and leave it in the comments any questions you have or anything you want me to talk about. And I guess I'll just see you in the next one. I just want to thank everyone, first of all, for supporting the channel. I love sharing this stuff, and if I didn't have an audience, then I wouldn't be able to do that. So it's a win-win. You guys get some information that might change your life. I get to be the one to share it. So thank you for everything, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.